All right, before we finish off this lesson, I want to give you one more example, and actually I'm going to show you first an impossible example, and then we're going to turn it into something possible, and I'll show you the solution, and that should do it for multiplication with matrices. So take a look at this example here. This will be our impossible example. Now remember that I said in order to be able to multiply with matrices, we have to have dimensions so that the last dimension of the first matrix is the same number as the first dimension of the second matrix. And in order to see what I mean by that, let's again decide what the dimensions are. So going down and then over, we say this is 2 by 2. So this matrix is a 2 by 2 matrix. For the second, we count down and then across. So that is a 3 by 1. So in order to be able to multiply these matrices, we need the last and the first to be the same number, and here they are not. Now if you're wondering, well, why doesn't that work? Keep in mind that in order to solve this problem, to multiply, we'd have to multiply and pair and multiply the first matrix or the first matrix row with the second matrix column. And this has 2 elements and this has 3 elements. So you see the 2 and the 3 make it so it's impossible to pair the numbers, and that's why it doesn't work. So instead of solving this, since it is after all impossible, let me use my eraser here to turn this into a possible matrix. So I'm going to turn this into a 2 by 3 instead of a 2 by 2. And we'll see how that works. So I'll make this, I don't know, -3 and -1. So now this is a 2 by 3 matrix being multiplied by a 3 by 1. And now we see that the last and the first are the same number. So this is going to work. So that's the first step to deciding if we can solve a matrix multiplication problem. The second step, remember, is that we have to decide what the dimensions of our actual solution matrix are going to be. And that is determined by the other 2 dimensions, the first and the last. So the inside dimensions, 3 and 3, they have to be the same. The outside dimensions, 2 and 1, if you see what I mean by that, it's okay, you can use different language, but I'm looking at that as being the outside dimensions, are going to determine our answer, which is going to be 2 by 1. So our solution will have 2 rows and 1 column. So those are just blanks to show us where those numbers are going to go. Okay, now we have determined that this is possible. Secondly, we've determined the size of our solution matrix, and now we're going to actually find the numbers that go inside. In order to do that, of course, let's use a different color. It's too close. We'll use green. We need to pair the first matrix rows with the second matrix column. So here's row 1, column 1. And we're going to use this to find the position, row 1, column 1. We pair the first and the first numbers. -3 times +3 is -9. So I'm just going to note this over here, -9. The pairing of the second numbers are 0 and -1. 0 times -1 is just 0, so +0. And then the last pair, 2 times 2 is 4, so +4. So the number that goes in spot row 1, column 1 is -9 plus 0 plus 4. That would be -5. So that is our first number. Now in order to find the second number, this is our second row, first column. We're going to, let me use another different color. Let's try something orangey. This will be second row, first column. And again, we pair the numbers together. So first and first, it'll be -1 times 3 gives me -3. Second pair, 4 times -1 is -4, so that will be add -4. Or we could just say -4, whatever you want to say. And then pair the last 2 elements, 1 and 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So I have -3 plus -4 plus 2. So that's -7 and 2. That would be -5. Oh, I didn't even mean to do it that way, but just so happens that our solution matrix is a 2 by 1 matrix with -5, -5 as our elements, and that's the answer. So that is your final example of matrix multiplication, and so you are ready to complete that worksheet.